Welcome to Love a Girl CEO, the podcast for women who believe love and money are not mutually exclusive. I'm your host, Devony Wells Gibson, divorce attorney turned prenup attorney and marriage strategy expert. I am the founder of The Prenup Queen and the Love a Girl CEO community. Today, I'm joined by Corryn Kivette, who is a Neuro-Linguistic Programming coach. Corryn uses her expertise to help individuals create measurable and lasting change, build confidence, shift internal narratives for peak performance, and strengthen individuals' communication skills. Corryn is notorious for not only helping people step out of their comfort zones, but to thrive there. In this episode, we applied her work to relationships and marriage to show how this work directly impacts the way we build intentional, aligned, and successful marriages. If you're ready to stop leaving a relationship to chance and start treating your marriage like the most important partnership of your life, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. All right. Well, Corryn, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I definitely want to start talking about NLP because that is what you do. That is what you are known for, especially here in San Diego, California. And I know I've been to a few of your events and just like how powerful it is when we're talking about like our thought processes and how to achieve our goals, because I usually go to things for like entrepreneurship, and you've helped unlock a lot of roadblocks that I've even experienced in my own mind. So if you can give us some background information on what NLP is, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It is a mouthful, and when I first heard of it, couldn't even pronounce it. So NLP for short, and it is basically utilizing the language of the mind to create our results, whether that's in business, whether that's in marriage, relationships, love, money, success. It is how do we use our mind to create our reality. And the way that I like to explain it, at least when I went through, is it is basically the owner's manual to being human. So if you've ever wondered, like, why am I getting in my own way? Why are these repeat patterns happening over and over and over again? For me, when I first found it, I felt like I had been working really, really hard just in life and business, and why was I not getting the results that I wanted? So when I went through, it was like, oh, this is the way that we think, the way that we communicate, the way that we operate. The way that I operate is different than how my family thinks, my prospects think, how they communicate. So it really is kind of pulling back the layers on just how we as humans work and how we operate. Because when we understand how we think and we communicate, we can better serve ourselves, but then also serve others if we're in business or if we're in relationships. So it really, for me, it just all around helps in so many areas of life.
Okay. And like I said, I usually went to a lot of your events for like entrepreneurship. And so some of the events that I've gone to have used like how we think, how we communicate in order to achieve certain types of goals that we're after. And seeing that it's December 30th today, we're about to hop into, I know, right?
It's crazy.
We're about to hop into the new year. Like a lot of the talk right now is obviously the New Year's resolutions, new year, new me, new goals, new habits, whatever. But from an NLP standpoint, what do we need to do in order to achieve those new goals, those new habits, and things like that?
Really, really good question. I think data shows that 90-something% of people will forget or give up on their New Year's resolutions by the third Monday in January. And if that's you, we've all been there, okay? We've all been there. Like, I am nowhere near perfect. I am still human. We've all been there. So if that is you, ultimately, it's not your fault because goal achieving, it isn't about willpower, discipline. Like, it isn't about pushing harder. To your question, it's about shifting the unconscious parts of ourselves that are either holding us back or aren't in alignment with our goal. So, for example, someone says, we'll talk in the context of business, I want to make a 7-figure company, right? Like I want to have $1 million in my company. Well, that's amazing. And what is your identity and what is your threshold? Where are you comfortable? If you're comfortable at 500 and that's the way that you've been operating for, let's just say, 2 or 3 years, you have certain beliefs wrapped around that, identities wrapped around that. And the unconscious part of you, which runs 90% of your life, goes, wait a minute, We don't know that zone.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the $1 million zone.
That's new to us.
It's new to us.
Mm-hmm.
We've been hustling. We've been pushing. We don't know what it's like to just relax and have other people, and delegate, and have other people do things for us, right? So every single one of us have our own thresholds. So we want to start peeling back the layers of what are the beliefs that we have, what are we focusing on, the identity that we've created around our comfort zone, and start to get in relationship with, okay, how have I been operating to get myself here, and then how do I need to operate differently to get to that next level? Whether it's the $1 million company or the loving relationship. I know we're going to talk a lot about relationships. I see so many people who they want the healthy relationship, yet if they've been in toxic relationships, guess what? You're going to actually repel a healthy relationship, because you have to shift in order for the rest to shift.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where my mind went when you started talking about we're not used to something. We might desire it, we might want it, but if we're not used to it, we don't know what that looks like. It's new, it's maybe even going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So from the context of relationships, that's a very standard one. Like you being so used to being with someone who is constantly cheating on you, lying to you, you're constantly in this fight or flight response in these relationships, then you want a healthy relationship. Then you finally find somebody who is actually a safe, secure space, but you're not used to it. And my thoughts are, and I say my thoughts, living from experience, it's self-sabotage. So then you start reverting back to old ways, even though there's no need for it, but it's just different. It's uncomfortable. I haven't done the internal work to actually understand what it's like to be in that type of space.
Yeah, your nervous system might not even be wired for safety, which is wild, right? And if we're not wired for safety, then that safety is going to appear as a threat. So then we're going to unconsciously sabotage. So we I don't know, in relationships we pull away even though it's healthy, or we start doing things that will inadvertently leave the relationship to one, either not being healthy or you not wanting to be in it. That's why, and let me preface this with, I am not a relationship coach. Okay, we talked about this in the beginning. Like, I'm in a relationship, I have some experience. People in my training rooms have said that we cure marriages. I just deal with people and programming and all that good stuff. And in relationships, it can just be so easy to fall back into past patterns. And it can be easy for us to sabotage, because we have to start uncovering our own comfort zones, and start really asking ourselves, what have we been in? And also, how has this become a comfort zone? And what the identity that I've built around this? And avoid shaming ourselves for when we are in relationships and maybe we are sabotaging, because I find that a lot of times the term sabotage is very negative, right? I'm sabotaged, it's a big deal. Well, it could also just mean that you're human and you're going through something. Let's figure out why the sabotage is happening. We don't need to shame. It doesn't. There's no judgment to it. It's there's something that's going on underneath the surface that's causing this.
That we need to dig deep into and figure out what the issue is. Or I say issue, but not just why you're acting in such a way. Why there's that response when you are trying to make something bigger and better. So, okay, so from an NLP standpoint, whether we're talking about relationships, business, whatever, when we recognize that, like what type of goals, like how do we actually get there?
Good question. So the very first step to any type of change is awareness. We can't change anything without being aware of it, because we're going to keep running the patterns. So I would say the first would be to identify what is actually going on and what's the actual problem. Is it a belief system? Is it a strategy? So our brain is basically a computer program that's been spitting out results. The easiest way to explain it is, because everyone has a phone, when you have your phone and it asks for that annoying update and you ignore it over and over and over again.
Update later.
later. And then your phone starts acting all haywire and you wonder why. Because it needs to be updated. So we have strategies in programming that the same thing happens. So first thing we need to do is, I would say, work with someone, whether that's a coach, whether that's a therapist, just someone to help you get outside of what's going on up here. Because it's really, really hard, and oftentimes we can't even see outside of our own programming, so we need someone else to mirror it back to us. So I would say awareness. Is it a belief thing? Are you just hitting a threshold? Like, I know in my own personal relationship, we've been together for 2.5 years with my partner. For me personally, first time being in a relationship with a woman, so also very new for me.
Right.
I was single, dated off and on, I think for, maybe 6 to 8 years before meeting her. So I've had a lot of learning that I've had to do, being a very independent woman, of now being in a relationship, to where she had only been in toxic relationships. So even though I'm a very healthy person, peace for her, like her sabotage, which a lot of times it's easier for us to see in other people than sometimes ourselves, was to create chaos even when there was peace. And I started to identify it, right? So thankfully she's very open to NLP. She's going through training, not through me as a practitioner, because she's too close to home. So she has a practitioner that she goes to see, so that way she could start to identify, what are these patterns, what are these things that are going on for me. And now we can create more peace together. Right now we can be a healthy relationship. So I would say asking, what beliefs have you created, stories that we've created. We make meaning out of everything. A lot of it does come from childhood. A lot of times when people go through my training, they're like, I didn't sign up for therapy. I didn't know this was what it was. And NLP is very different than therapy. It's a therapy-based model, but it's different because we only deal with the problem to then pull out the weed to figure out the solution. We don't keep you there. So more often than not, because our programming periods are from the ages of 0 to 7 is our imprint period, a lot happens in childhood. So in relationship, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's career, start to step back and ask yourself, what were things like growing up? Like, I was raised by a woman who was raised by a woman that was raised by someone in the Great Depression. Money was scarce for them. My mom is, not so much anymore, definitely was a hoarder. She only bought things that were on sale, never bought stuff for herself, and bought like 5 of everything that was on sale. We were the, when you did the can drives, right? We were like number 1 because my whole pantry was full of expired cans. So I didn't know anything different. Then I go through NLP and I'm like, holy shit, excuse my language, right? I was growing up, I would get $100 for Christmas. I wouldn't touch that until the following Christmas because I wanted to save, save my money. And it was like, oh, that's why. So any area that you're wanting to stretch in, like, start to ask yourself, how has that been growing up, and what did you learn and what did you carry, and what is no longer yours? Like, because we carry so much stuff from our childhood, from our influences, that isn't even ours. However, if we don't become aware of it, we can't even change it.
You can't change what you don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know your starting point for where you're going to go from.
Exactly.
So I can resonate with that because growing up, I grew up with my mom being pretty much a single parent. So
my mom too.
My dad left when I was 13 years old, and she raised me after that. My dad just kind of stepped out the picture, poof, gone, whatever. So it's not that it gave me a bad taste of men, but it just made me realize that I can do life on my own. So I started growing up thinking I don't need a man, became extremely hyper independent. And really it really was I could do this by myself, because I really could. When you think about it, I really could. But then somewhere down the line, like, I started to feel like I do actually want to be in relation with somebody. I do actually want to be able to come home with someone that's going to be safe and secure. Granted, I did see the first beginning part of my parents' relationship, and it was not good. Like, throwing things against the wall, yelling, screaming, and stuff like that. So on the other end of the extreme, it's not that I wanted the same type of relationship my mom had. It was either I wanted safe, secure, or nothing. It was all or nothing.
All or nothing.
So very end of the extreme. I wanted the complete opposite. Exactly. And then, of course, Roberto. Everyone knows Roberto. And it's very interesting because I had to go through a lot of therapy before I even met Roberto, because I wanted to be able to soften myself to be in the role that I wanted to have. Like I felt like I couldn't be that hyper independent woman and still feel like I wanted to be taken care of softly. And so that was really interesting. So a lot of therapy, going to your events, sitting there crying at your events when we talk about like our mental blocks and our childhoods or whatever, like to just release all of that and then to step into eventually what it is that I truly want, what I think I deserve, and what I actually truly desire.
Yeah.
So that has been extremely helpful. And I just, every time I go to your event, I'm just thinking, oh my God, this would be so great in the context of relationships. Because I do think that like marriage, so my hot take is I do think marriage is a business. That's how I've always viewed it. Because I think you can craft it, you can build it, you can make it what it is that you want it to be. And so that's why I find a lot of links with your things. It's like, okay, I want this type of person. Not that we can control people, but I desire this type of person. I want to manifest this person, or I want to pray for this person to step into my life that's going to have all these qualities. And then I want to be this type of person for them, and I want all of these qualities. And then I want us to build and have this family and create this dream life together. But it doesn't just happen. You have to actually make it work. You have to actually have the vision and then take the action steps to get to that vision. But like you also said, there's things that we're not used to. There's things that we're uncomfortable with. There's that self-sabotage that's keeping us from getting to building what it is we actually want. So what are your thoughts? Because don't get me wrong, the minute we finish this podcast, I'm about to go do my vision board. But I want to know, what are your thoughts on vision boards?
Oh, vision boards are great.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say vision boards are great because your brain doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality, right? So your brain, the only difference that, let me back up really quick. Vision boards are great, and if you can, add a highly associated state to it.
What do you mean?
High emotion to it. So if, for example, you have a vision board, yet you're in the space of, I don't have that yet. When is that going to happen? Worrying, anxiety, whatever it is, that's going to do the exact opposite of what it is that you want. So with that vision board, make sure that you're in a place of, well, for one, time doesn't even exist. So really, it's all here in the now.
Right.
So operating as if it's already happening, right? Being in that space is very important. That's why your brain doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. However, if you start to counter that, oh, but that's not actually here, then it's not going to work in your favor, right? You have to fully embody, and the frame is like acting as if.
As if it's happening right now.
Yes.
Oh.
So in that loving relationship, how would you act? Act as if you already have it.
Right.
It's here and now.
Oh.
And you're 100% congruent in that.
Okay. Oh, wait, I love that. So then when you say put an emotion to it, so say I'm putting like pictures on my vision board, am I just like imagining what it is, or are you saying like actually write on the vision board the emotion?
I would say just imagining how you would feel. I think also something that, so I don't do too much work in the manifesting space, however, I do love it, and I love the science behind manifesting. Something that I've been playing around with is, oftentimes when we do this vision board or our big goals, right, we get really excited. Like, that's the state that I want to be in, excited. However, sometimes that excitement, your nervous system isn't used to that excitement. And also, when you're running that 7-figure company, like, you're not really going to be excited. It's going to be normal for you. You know what I mean?
Like you're used to it.
You're used to it.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
And so we create based upon what we expect.
Okay.
So if you can start to normalize that big vision, like make that just like I'm a $10 million entrepreneur, right? I have the Bentley that I'm driving, right? Like, you start to normalize it. It isn't so much of a wow, because that's not how we are in our day to day. You know what I mean? So how can you add like a high state to it and a high emotion?
Yeah.
And also how can you start to normalize it?
Right.
Because your brain is also going to start to pick up on that vision board in the today. Like it isn't some future thing, it's now.
Right.
And so the more that you start anchoring that, it's happening now and now and now and now and now. You start to build it very quickly.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. So like when people, I'm just thinking of how to translate this over into like relationships and marriage. And so it's this is everything that I've wanted in a partner when he comes, or she, or whoever it is, when they come, it's what type of feeling is it? If it's not excitement, I mean, I would be excited. I mean, I'm married. I'm in a relationship. Okay. But I'm trying to think, like, when I saw Roberto, he's pretty much everything that I wrote on my paper, or on my list. And minus the fact that he doesn't yet make 6 figures. But he's close. He's going to be so upset when he sees this. But what I love most about him is his generosity. Like, that is something that I actually put on my list that I wanted. And I'm trying to think. He's always been super generous with me. I don't even know how
does
that feels.
when he does that, how does that feel?
Sometimes I feel guilty. A little bit, because it's just like, okay, but I also have money, I can just pay for it. Or he always pays for my stuff, like maybe I should. I mean, every once in a while I do, but I do feel guilty. And even the fact that I want to be a stay-at-home mom eventually, and it's like, that means he has to be continuously generous with me. How do I step into that without that guilt? And I think the way I try to justify it is, well, it's because I'm going to be raising the kids, and this is what I deserve, or whatever. But he really does, he's just generous because he loves me so much that that's just natural for him. So it really shouldn't be that it's because I'm doing all this stuff. It's because he just genuinely cares about me.
Yeah.
It's cool actually talking it out, and actually I feel like I'm having a therapy session right now. But yeah, when I have my meetings, my money dates with Roberto, and we dream about how much money we want, like, saved in the bank, in our investment accounts, what type of house do we live in, what type of lifestyle do we want. And I think I do have some excitement because it's just fun thinking about all these possibilities. Yeah. Because I do also think that if they're in my heart, or if it's something that I'm desiring, it's gonna happen.
Exciting. It is gonna happen.
Yeah.
That word for me is certainty. Like, there's a level of certain, like, you just know it's going to happen. Yeah. Like, that certainty is just there.
Yeah. And my stuff isn't like completely delusional. Like, I always tell people though, be delusional, think big, dream big, whatever. Because half the time we are cutting our own dreams in half, because it's like, there's no way that's gonna happen. But when you go out and you look at some of these people and you look at the lifestyle they're living, a lot of that I was just like, how's that even possible? But it is possible.
It is 100%.
So yeah, I'm always big on dream big, but a lot of the things that I'm asking for now, maybe at one point I would have thought, ain't no way I'm gonna have that much money. Ain't no way I'm gonna have a man that's just super generous like this. There's really no men out there like that. That was me at one point. That was me at one point. Oh. So yeah, dreaming big, thinking bigger. I don't even know where I was going with this.
Oh, we were just talking about vision board. Yeah.
Vision board, yeah.
But the feeling of generosity when he's generous. How that makes you feel.
I still gotta work through that.
Yeah.
I do. But like I said, I've been in a lot of therapy. I'm still in therapy. Matter of fact, Berto and we go to couples therapy because there's a lot of things that we both need to work on in order for this relationship to continue to be what we eventually want it to be.
I tell people all the time in relationships, especially now that I've been in one for 2.5 years because I was single beforehand, there is so much unlearning and learning that has to happen. And you don't just get to a point where, oh, now we're good.
Right.
Like, no, like, the mountain is always you. There's always more to learn and unlearn. And yeah, we started working with someone because I told her, I said, I was single before you, never been in a healthy relationship. You've only been in toxic relationships. Right. And we expect that we're just going to get this thing figured out.
Figure it out.
No, there is so much unlearning and learning that has to happen. So to me, working with someone in therapy, like a lot of people see it as, oh, you only go when you have a problem. And I'm over here like, no, baby, I got big goals and big dreams, so we got to work on this stuff to make it happen.
Exactly.
Now, it's a growth opportunity.
Exactly.
It's not about fixing problems. It is about growing together.
Right.
100%.
And so actually talking about that, so here's an issue that I often see, because I was a divorce attorney. And it's people who, because we talked about personal development, we talked about vision, and then you brought up the word of alignment. And so what I see is people being misaligned on vision, people being misaligned on their goals, dreams, and stuff like that. So I guess when I say do vision boards, talk to your partners, making sure you're aligned on your goals. Again, I know you said you're not a relationship expert, but from your standpoint, NLP, whatever the case may be, when there are two individuals who deeply love each other, but their personal growth is not the same. Maybe one person is more into personal growth than the other. Or if their visions aren't aligned, and maybe one person wants something lavish and the other person doesn't even know what they want. Is there any work from even an NLP standpoint?
I'm always going to say yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it depends.
Okay.
It depends because we always have free will and we always have choice.
Right.
So I'm someone who, my company is Evolution Room. I stand on the platform of evolving. Like I do so much personal and professional development work as much as I can.
Right.
And I'm also Scorpio. So we dig in. I'm like, the deeper the better, right? My girlfriend is the opposite.
Okay.
Before meeting me, she'd been in therapy for a year and had some personal development.
Wait,
books.
that's huge. I feel like a lot of people do not do therapy at all.
Agree.
Okay.
So she'd been on her journey.
Yes.
Right. And something that I've learned about myself, which honestly, like if you know me, it's common sense. However, sometimes it takes us a little bit to get there.
Right.
Is how high growth is as a core value of mine. Like it is a core value.
Right.
So the moment that we start to get complacent, I get triggered. Now that's my work to do, right? When I start projecting my stuff onto her, like that's more about me than it is her. And I can also tell when we start getting into a space of complacency and there isn't growth, it isn't okay for me. Now, knowing me and the way that growth is so important for me, I can't expect her to be on board with her own growth. Like I can't say, well, you need to be grown, like you need to be doing this stuff like I am.
Right.
You need to be as into personal development as I am. Like I can't do that. I get to love her as she is. And if I don't, then I would need to leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now she also has a choice, which she's decided and choose to grow herself. So that way we as a couple can grow together. Right. And I mean, I am, when it comes to growth, I'm a tough one. I'm not, because I won't settle in my life.
Right.
Like, I've worked really, really hard.
Right.
And so that is a certain standard that you got to meet it. Like it's just, and if she chooses not to and I don't want to lower it, then it's not going to work.
Right.
Like, that's where when divorce and things happen, I find so often people like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like that's so hard. And to me, I say, if it was meant to be, congratulations. Like that is, you should be proud of yourself.
Right.
Because if two people aren't compatible, you're not compatible. However, you have to have those conversations and you have to talk things through.
Absolutely.
If you are surface level and woo-woo and just not being real with one another,
it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. There's too much stuff that we project onto one another for it to work.
Right.
So I would say, as long as somebody chooses to get on board with one another, then yes, it can work.
Okay.
Every single time, because Chelsea and I are different. However, every single time we come together, we talk it out, and we grow from that conversation. Like that's what relationships is. It's never going to be perfect.
Right.
Ever. Yet if you can say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is my shit. Well, I don't like this. How's that impacting you? Okay, how do we talk this out and actually get one another's perspective, and then end the question with how do we grow from here?
Right.
Like that's it.
Right.
Your partner's name's Chelsea?
Yeah, Chelsea.
Chelsea. So you had said though, you and Chelsea are both on a personal growth path.
Mm-hmm.
She started before y'all got together. That's your standard.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when there is somebody who is just refusing to grow? And grow as in, because I think in order to grow, you have to take accountability for certain things. You have to be aware, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand your flaws, your weaknesses, and then to grow, you have to grow into bigger and or better.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever ran into a situation where someone just refused to grow? Maybe it was them settling because they were just happy and comfortable with where they were at.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you help them, if at all, if you even can, how did you encourage them?
Good question. Are we talking in general or in relationship or both?
Both.
Okay. In general, I will say that a mentor of mine says, and I love this line, it's not mine, it's from her, Stacey O'Byrne, choice is a powerful thing, suffering is optional. Sometimes our programming, our strategies, our beliefs can be very, very sneaky because it loves our comfort zone. The comfort zone is safe. So I can teach NLP. I can lead a horse to water. I can shove the horse's head under the water.
Drink this water.
I can yell at it.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot make that horse drink the water.
Right.
So sometimes there are people who choose to stay in their stuff because for some reason they are gaining something. So every behavior that we deploy serves us in one way. We get something out of it. If it's healthy or not healthy, like we might be benefiting in some way from it.
Okay.
So there's some type of gain that person is getting from not growing, whether it's staying small, whether it's avoiding visibility, whether it's attention, whether it's, it could be a array of things, quite honestly. We're all very, very different, so I can't speak to one thing, and that can be their choice. I have had people that go through my training room that resist the heck out of it because they want to stay where they are for some reason.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, like 6 months later, things start to shift, right? If they choose that.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone, it has to be a choice,
Yeah.
and we have to want the change, and we have to be willing to make that change. And that's something that I've learned for myself personally. Like, the more that I really want the change to happen and believe it's going to, it happens so freaking fast. The times where I resist it, guess what? It doesn't happen as fast. And that's something that I truly admire with Chelsea, because being an NLP practitioner, trainer, like, that is a very high level of evolving.
Right.
So being with someone like myself is not easy. It isn't.
You're aware.
Yeah. I'm like, let's talk about all the projections and shit. Let's bring all the childhood stuff up. People don't like that. However, every single time, like, she is more than willing to dive into the depths and do the work.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm the analytical one. Like, I gotta process and think things through. She's the kinesthetic, so she's like the, oh my gosh, this is crazy, like, just super animated about it. And so we're just total opposites. But she's decided to make that choice for her. And that's something that I talked about in the very beginning. Like, I said to her, NLP is very important to me. Your growth is very important to me. And you don't have to go through NLP. I want you to for you.
Right.
I want you to be a stronger you.
Right.
I'm going to be a stronger me, so we can be a stronger us. However, if you're struggling with you, I'm not here to save you.
Right.
Like, I'm not.
Right.
And that's something that I really had to learn because I was raised by a mother who saved every man that she was with. So that was something that I had to personally work through.
Yeah.
So I would say in relationship, if that person isn't choosing growth and growth is very important to you, then if you can't love and accept them the way that they are, then I'm unsure if being in that relationship is satisfactory for both parties.
Right.
Like, what are we really doing here?
Right. There's just going to be a lot of tension there. You're going to have one person that's going to be resenting the other, trying to constantly pull them into a direction they think is best for that person. And then the person who's hesitant to grow or is resisting the growth is also going to end up resenting the other person, because now they're going to feel like either they're not being accepted for who they are, or maybe they don't think they're good enough because the other person thinks they should be bigger and better. I feel like it's just going to lead to a lot of resentment and a lot of spitefulness when that happens.
Yeah, and relationships are very intimate, and they're very, it is personal development on crack, because as Carl Jung says, we can only see in other people what we see in ourselves.
Yes.
So what you're really getting pissed off at your partner about says more about you than it does them.
Yeah.
So when we take that to heart, like your relationship and what's going on, it is really reflecting back to you more of you.
Yes.
And so when we as partners can step back and say, okay, what about this is about me? Now, it's funny because when we're talking about relationships, like, yes, there is that part, and then there are just some times that might not work for you in a relationship.
Right.
That doesn't mean just like stick it out, it's
Right.
all about you. No, it's get the learnings, what about this is about me, and then how are we going to shift this in the relationship, or what's my part and then what's their part,
Right.
you know? But sometimes you can love someone and also not be compatible, which is difficult. That is difficult. I'm not
Absolutely.
gonna lie or sugarcoat that.
Absolutely. And I feel like I feel like it's really women. I'm not a man, so I can't speak from a man's perspective. But I feel like that's a lot of women seeing potential. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where it comes from. Clearly y'all aren't compatible. You start to dream up, well, this person can be this, but that's not who they are.
Yeah.
That's just not who they are. It's just
Yeah.
incompatibility, it's misalignment, and maybe it's just not your person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rough because, like you said, you can be in love with them. So now you're in love with them and you so badly want to do life with them, but them being in relation with you is not best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a romantic relation with you is
Yeah.
not best for you.
Yeah.
And that is so tough because that's me talking from experience on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
But
And it really is choosing yourself
yes.
in those moments.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, it's like when you talked about your standards, I think it's being clear. Even though I say do a vision board, whatever, with your person,
Mm-hmm.
you should be very clear on the goals and the dreams and the life that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person is not on board to help you get to the life and dreams that you want, no. Being able to say no and walk away.
And that's also unfair to both parties.
Yes.
It gets unfair to you for putting you on the back burner, and it's also unfair to them to expect them, right, to level up or whatever it is. So that's not an easy decision, and I think that when we step back and realize the unfairness of just all of it, and it can make the decision a little bit easier.
Yeah. And it's always easier to tell a girlfriend, this is what you should and shouldn't do.
Oh,
Clearly, yeah. But when it comes to ourselves, we always think we're the exception sometimes.
Well, like I tell people, I'm like, we teach what we need the most. Like, I teach NLP because I freaking need it, you know?
Like, this podcast is for me. I'm here for a therapy session. Yes. All right. Well, Corryn, thank you so much. I did actually want to end, and I didn't even bring my questions in here, but I wanted to do like, what do you call those? Like a speed question, rapid fire type situation.
What do you got?
I didn't even bring my questions. Hold on.
Okay.
Y'all don't see nothing. Okay, so rapid fire. I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1. Biggest belief holding women back from designing the life they want?
That they don't deserve it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that's a whole topic. That's a whole topic. Oh my god. Okay. Number 2. The first thing people should change if their goals keep falling apart.
Ooh, the first thing they should change if their goals keep falling apart. Pushing through. Yeah, when goals are falling apart, like reflect. We gotta step back, we gotta pause. Something's going on.
Meaning don't keep pushing through.
Yeah, don't keep pushing
Meaning
through.
take a step back.
Yes, you gotta stop pushing through. Like, we need to step back, what's off.
That's smart. Assess it.
Yeah.
Number 3. If marriage were a business, even though I think it is, so there's no if, but if marriage were a business, the most neglected department would be?
Finances is what came up. Yeah, that was the first immediate finances for sure.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at it. I thought about that and I was like, what would my answer be? And I think most would assume finances would be my first response. And then I kept thinking about it. I was like, well, there's many different types of businesses. And I used to work for a warehouse distribution in accounting. So my background's accounting. And there was a logistics department. And so when I think of logistics, I think of like being able to communicate how we're going to get to A, B, C, and D. And I think communication, which leads to finances being an issue. I think communication, figuring out how to do things, when to do things, the how, where, what, who, when, that's mismanaged sometimes in relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, how would I answer these? So thank you so much. Yeah. So tell everyone how we can find you, where you're at, how we can learn more about NLP, all the goods.
Yeah, so I'm on social. My company is Evolution Room. So whether it's Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, LinkedIn will have Evolution Room and Corryn Kivette. And then my website is just evolutionroom.co.
Yeah. And let me tell you, she is phenomenal because I've been to so many of her events. Oh my God. Thank you, Corryn.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to join the Love Girl CEO community. It's completely free and filled with resources to help you build a healthy, aligned, and successful marriage rooted in love and money. You can also grab additional tools, guides, and frameworks designed to help you have better conversations, make smarter decisions, and build real security in your relationship. And if you want personalized support, you can always schedule a love and money call with me. I'd love to connect with you directly. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, leaving a review truly helps more women find this work. Until next time, lead with intention, build with purpose, and remember, your marriage is one of your most powerful assets.